Okay, so quick, maybe quick, guide on characters. This isn't probably gonna, replace John, but if you wanna get started real fast. So this goes for anyone, but since Simon was the first one to ask, he mentioned he wanted to play Sorcerer, so I really like this website called wiki.5e. It gives you information on classes and races, which we'll get to later. But basically, to get the numbers down to fill out your sheet, just go to the sorcerer. What we're going to want to start with is probably stats. I don't actually have to be on the sorcerer page for this. For stats, I'm going to do rolling for this game. So just take your d6, roll it 4 times. So like a 1, a 3, a 2, and a 6, so pretty bad. So 6, 2, and 3 were the 3 highest. Drop the 1 because that's the lowest. So your stat for one of your larger numbers would be 11, 6 plus 2 plus 3. And so basically, assuming that's blank, just write down your 6 numbers. So you do like 46 minus the lowest 6 times. And then once you have all your numbers set around, you can allocate them to whichever, stat you want to prioritize in. As a sorcerer, you're a charisma-based caster, so you're gonna want to have your charisma like maxed out basically if you like want to play into spellcasting, which is pretty much what you want to do as a sorcerer. Good to know, sorcerers get pretty low spell slots at 3rd level, which is what we're starting at. You can't cast way too many spells in a day, and I don't know if you get any slots back during a short rest. I don't think you do, but I could be wrong on that. But you can read all of that here with the sorcerer spellcasting. Anyway, so charisma is what you're going to want to spec into. Depends what you want to do for your like next highest. So say you have like a 16 for charisma and you have like a 15 and a 14, like where do you want to put those? If you want to be like a melee or like fighter side, you can go into dexterity or strength. Strength is going to help you if you're wielding like a sword or any melee weapon. Dexterity is going to help you if you want to like wield a bow or anything ranged like a spear or a trident. If you don't want to do weapons, if you want to be mostly like a support caster or just like a damage caster, I would highly suggest spec into Constitution. This goes for most people, especially if you have low hit dice, which as a sorcerer or a wizard you do. So this is how much HP you have dice-wise, but if you spec into Constitution a bit, you're going to be able to buff your HP a bit. Every time you level up, you get a little bit of HP based on your modifier. I don't remember if you know, or I don't know if you remember what modifiers are, but basically they're like little numbers based on your stat. So like we said before, if you have like a 16 in charisma, you'll go to your chart, look for the score of 16, and then the modifier is +3. So you'd have like 16 and then a +3 modifier. I don't know where I was going with that, but modifiers are good. You gotta get some good ones. Let's see. So once you've done your stats, you're gonna fill out your saving throws and skills. Before you fill out any of the lines here, you're gonna want to fill out the bubbles. The bubbles indicate proficiency, which means just you're better at the stat or better at the skill. I guess you can ask John or look up or ask me what each skill is. But basically you get your proficiencies. Number 1, actually, you get your proficiencies from 2 places, from your class and your race. This is probably when you want to start thinking about your race if you haven't already. For my game, you can choose any of the common races, any of the exotic races, any of the monster races. I'd rather not do any of this unearthed arcana, etc. stuff, just because I don't know them that well, and some of them are kind of broken. But say you go into Dragonborn, we already have a Dragonborn player, but of course you can play, more than one race in a party. So proficiency, sometimes a race. Wait. Oh shoot. This is wrong. It's not the race that'll give you proficiency, it's the background. But same Rome we're leading to, this road. The background will give you a proficiency list. So if we go City Watch, it'll give you skill proficiencies, go through those you get automatically. So it says here, if you want to choose a City Watch background, go to skill proficiencies, athletics, and insight. So those are the two you're gonna be proficient in. So just bubble in athletics and bubble in insight. And then once you have those in, you're gonna go back to your class and then go to skills under proficiencies, go to skills, choose 2 from Arcana, Deception, etc. So you'll just choose 2 from those and bubble those in. You can't double down on stats, so like if both the background and the class have Deception, you can't have like a double modifier for Deception. That's something only some classes get. So do your skills, do your saving throws. Saving throws you find on the class as well. Again, under proficiencies, go to saving throws. As a sorcerer, you get saving throws in Constitution and Charisma. So you would just bubble those in, Constitution and Charisma. And so as level 3, we have a proficiency bonus of +2. And say you have a Charisma modifier of +3. Since you're proficient in it, you add your proficiency bonus with your modifier for a total of +5, +2, +3. If you're not proficient in it, like strength, and you have like a -2 modifier, you just have a -2 modifier for the saving throw. Same with all the skills that you're proficient and non-proficient in. So if you have your proficiency, you add your proficiency bonus. If you don't, you just add the straight modifier. So just like fill that out, helps in game, you know, so you can quickly add the number to your dice roll. Armor class is dependent if you're wearing armor, which as a sorcerer you cannot. Armor proficiency is none. Your armor, I believe, is just 10 plus your dexterity, but let me double check. You can, sorry, typing, talking. A lot of this you can just check online, but I think it's nice to have it in a video that's hopefully not too winding and unhelpful. Yeah, so armor class is 10 plus the character's dexterity modifier. So if you want to not be terribly squishy, you might want to consider speccing into dexterity after charisma to have a slightly higher modifier, slightly higher armor class, and slightly less chance of getting hit. If you are wearing armor, you'll find that in your class proficiencies, you might have like armor, light armor, or heavy armor, or all armor. And so I would just look up D&D armor, go to this nice site, Roll20. They have exhaustive lists and descriptions, but they have a cool chart here. So you would basically just follow the numbers here for how to calculate your armor class. So for light armor class is 11 plus dexterity modifier. Heavy armor, you know, it gives you these standard things. Definitely ask me if you have any questions, because there's a lot of like little things here. Like for heavier armor, you have to have like a certain strength requirement. Light armor gives like disadvantage on stealth checks, which means you're less stealthy if you want to be. So just things like that. But for the most part, or for Simon at least, you'll just do 10 plus your dexterity modifier. Not the number, but the modifier. Initiative is also your dexterity modifier. So that's nice, I guess. That's just determining how fast you get into combat, how fast you can react to when initiative is called. Speed is what you're going to find on your race. If we actually use race correctly this time, then go back to Wikidot, go to races, choose any of common, exotic, or monstrous races, and it'll give you like a speed. Gnomes, you can go to speed. Your base walking speed is 25. The average speed is 30 feet. As you can see with the human, some races get slightly higher speeds, but you know, as a like a sorcerer or like a fighter, you're not really like trying to be the fastest guy in the world. Let's see. Hit points, they're just gonna roll for that. Again, go to your class. Your class is determining your hit point, your hit die, I mean. As a sorcerer, it's a d6, which is the lowest hit die. Just like read a bit here. There is a good amount of like tedious reading for character creation, but it's all just to make the game run more smoothly. Since we're starting at 3rd level, you're gonna have 3 levels under your belt. Make sure to read at 1st level, your HP is 6 plus your constitution modifier. So that would be like 6, which is the highest value on your hit die, plus your constitution modifier, for a total of like, 8 at 1st level. And since we're 3rd level, it's 2 levels higher. So you would roll this time for your 2 levels, because we wouldn't want like a 1st level person to have like 2 hit points, So you just roll that. 5 plus your con modifier, which would say it's 7, and then 6 plus your con modifier, so that's 8. Add those all up, that's your total hit point maximum. Write that in your current hit points. Don't worry about temporary hit points. Hit dice. You're 3rd level. As a sorcerer, your hit dice is a d6. So 3 to denote your levels in that class, and then d6 as a sorcerer hit die. Because you're a sorcerer, you probably won't have too many weapons. If you do, just go to, or just look up like D&D weapons. Roll20 has another nice chart for that with lots of descriptions, and you can just choose based on your class proficiencies which weapons you would want to have. For me, for my game, you can just choose whatever you want. You don't have to be limited by the equipment you start with. So D&D weapons, make sure to read like if you're proficient in melee weapons, if you're proficient in martial weapons, and you can choose like battle axe has a nice d8 of damage versus like a dagger's d4. So just like, see what you want to play with. John could tell you like which stats help with which weapons. If you're dexterous but not very strong, you would probably prefer like a spear over a mace or something, because you don't have the strength to wield a mace as effectively. So you would fill that into there. Weapon, attack bonus. I guess John could take you through, the nifty things. I could say it right here, which might be hard to follow, but attack bonus is the stat that it corresponds with, that modifier, plus your proficiency bonus if you're proficient in it. So usually at around level 3, it adds up to like +5. Damage type is based on, again, the weapon. So damage type for a pike is piercing damage, 1d10 piercing damage. A pike is a strength-based weapon, so for the damage type, you add your strength modifier with the 1d10, so it's like 1d10 plus 4 piercing. If you have a +4 modifier for strength, you do not add your proficiency bonus to the damage modifier. All this stuff, all these boxes, is just for your own kind of reference. Read through the class features, read through your race features, read through your background features if you have any, fill out your languages and proficiencies, fill out your features so that you can refer to the character sheet in game rather than pulling up 4 different tabs to see what you can do. As a spellcaster, I really like spellcasters because you get to have spells and you can fill that on your spell sheet. There's a couple different sites for spells. I like D&D, I think I'll call it Spell List. I don't know, there's a couple that are kind of janky, but dndspellslist.com. Choose which class you are, because that'll filter it from all the spells in the game to just sorcerer spells. You can sort by level. The sorcerer table on Wikidot will tell you which level spells you know and which slots you have them for. So like you have 4 spells known. So you can like write a total of 4 spells excluding cantrips on your sheet. Sorry for the camera shake. 4 first level slots and 2 second level slots. So that's just 4 and 2. And then 4 cantrips. Cantrips are like level 0 spell. You can use them an indefinite amount of times. So you just have like 4 spells filled out here. That corresponds with pretty much any spell site I've seen. Level 0 is cantrip. Level 1, first level, etc. So fill those out. I like this a lot. Read the descriptions. They give you nice little things here. If you've played before, you probably recognize like a lot of the language that's used, but if not, I guess we'll figure it out in game. And then last technical stuff for spellcasting. For a class, you just put, you know, what class you are, sorcerer. Spellcasting ability for sorcerers is charisma. That changes based on spellcasting class. Spell save DC. All of this is explained in spellcasting of the Wikidot class page. Spell save DC is your 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. So that's 8 plus 2 plus 3 for a total of 13. So you write like 13 here, and then spell attack bonus. We go to the page again. Spell attack modifier is your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. So that's plus 2 plus 3 for a total of plus 5. And that's basically it for technical stuff. Again, you can use like characterization, like background, narrative, fun roleplay stuff on your own time. Don't really need me to explain it really. We're not going to be using experience points. I don't like that. And think of a name. And think of how you look, because I like to ask in the beginning of my games, like, describe your character. And if you have like a cool description beyond like, oh, I'm a girl that has like a sword, it's like really fun. And like, it makes a nice like visual narration for the story.